Are you thinking about moving to Vegas, or do you live in Vegas? You really don't go to the Strip, but maybe you want to start taking advantage of it? Check out this video. We got some hot tips for you. Hey guys, it's Justin with the Moody Olson team alongside my partner Mike. If you've watched our videos, you've heard us in the past talk about how rarely we go to the Strip and how rarely we even talk about the Strip. But today we wanted to do something a little different, throw a little curveball out there for you. We rarely go, but that doesn't mean we don't go. So today we're going to talk to you about some of the things that Vegas locals do on the Strip, and maybe even throw in some insider tips for you on when to go and where to park. So Mike, let's talk about the Strip. There's so many different activities that you can take advantage of down on the Las Vegas Strip, and a lot of locals just don't do it. I hear all the time, oh no, I never go to the Strip, which I'm guilty of saying at times too, and I know you are as well.
Absolutely.
But there are times that you want to go. There are things that we want to do. There are some fantastic activities to take advantage of down there on the Las Vegas Strip. Mike, why don't you start us off?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, the most common reason that I personally go to the Strip, and I know this applies to most of my friends as well, is shopping. And it's not that there's not plenty of great shopping in Las Vegas away from the Strip. There definitely is, and we've told you guys about a lot of it, right? So we've told you guys about downtown Summerlin, and we keep promising you a video on Town Square that we still need to shoot. Now that it's getting a little cooler out, we should probably put that on the calendar.
Absolutely. And another bad reason to go to Stickies.
Another great reason to go to Stickies. We told you about Stickies in our burger video, so here we are. However, what those two shopping centers, and I would argue that those are two of the nicest shopping centers in the valley.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what they have in common is that they're outdoors.
Yeah.
This is Las Vegas. In the summertime, it's 112 degrees outside.
Yep.
I don't necessarily want to be walking around outdoors. So if I want to do some shopping, particularly if I want to do more upscale shopping, and I don't want to be outside in the heat, most of the good options happen to be on the Strip.
Yes.
Starting first and foremost with the Fashion Show Mall.
Oh yeah.
The Fashion Show Mall is absolutely one of my favorite shopping destinations in Las Vegas, despite the fact that it's on the Strip. And one of the reasons that I really like the Fashion Show Mall is because being a 90s kid myself, right? Growing up, I graduated high school in 96, so I am in the heart of the 90s. And so I grew up in that 90s mall culture, right? Yeah. That was what me and my buddies did. We would go and hang out at the mall.
Mallrats.
Mallrats, absolutely. Phenomenal movie. When you go to the mall nowadays, especially if you go down to some of the malls that are out in the community, man, a lot of them, they feel like they're dying.
Yeah.
Right? And that's sad, but I understand it's progress. Most of people's shopping has moved to online type vendors, and so brick and mortar shopping tends to be going away. However, when you go to the Fashion Show Mall, because of the fact that there are a number of tourists there, and because of the fact that it does attract locals who want to go do their shopping and get out of the heat, it really has that energy and that vibe that reminds me of going to the mall back when I was a teenager in the 90s. And I really like that. It's a great way to kill an afternoon.
Yep. And we talked about maybe throwing in some pro tips. So here's a pro tip. If you're coming from the west side of town, if you come in off of Spring Mountain, you can make a left into the Fashion Show Mall and not even have to go all the way down to Las Vegas Boulevard or the Strip. That's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of hassle with the traffic, and then you can park in the parking garage back there. It just makes it a little bit easier. And as we go, we'll share more tips as far as navigating the Las Vegas Strip with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So like we were talking about, the Fashion Show Mall, first of all, it's absolutely gigantic.
Yeah.
There are just tons and tons of shops, and almost everything is full, right? You don't walk through the Fashion Show Mall and see a bunch of vacant storefronts. And I don't know about you, but it kind of bums me out, takes me out of the enjoyment of the day, right?
And they just they're just finishing a revitalization of that mall. They just redid the entire thing. It's really looking nice.
Yeah, it is a very, very nice facility. I know that there's some really great dining down there. Now, you are going to pay not necessarily full-blown Strip prices for the dining, but it is going to be a little bit more expensive than maybe that you would pay away from that area.
They have an old-fashioned food court.
They do have an old-fashioned food court.
And it actually has great views of the Las Vegas Strip. If you wanted to eat at the food court and sit over the Las Vegas Strip and people watch, you could do it there.
Absolutely. So the Fashion Show Mall, that's not the only option. A couple of other great shopping options down on the Strip are going to be the shops at Caesars Forum.
Yep.
right? Or the Forum shops at Caesar's Palace, I believe is their
some really high-end shopping there.
There's some really great shopping there. It's one of my personal favorite places to go for watch shopping. I am a watch aficionado. I collect watches, and some of the best watch stores in Las Vegas are in the Forum shops at Caesars.
Okay.
To include Torno, or I believe they're rebranding now as Boucherer. There's also a Rolex boutique. There is a Mont Blanc boutique. There's an Omega boutique. There's several individual brand stores for various luxury watch brands.
Do they have my favorite brand? Do they have Swatch?
So it's funny you ask that. Do you know where the Swatch store is?
No.
At the Fashion Show Mall.
That's real? They really still have Swatch stores.
There is a
That's
Swatch.
fantastic.
There is a Swatch store at the Fashion Show Mall, and I have bought watches there. I have 2 Swatches in my collection downstairs right now that I bought there. Well, one of them I bought there, and one of them I bought at the Swatch store in the New York.
See, now that is like, you talked about going back to the 90s.
Yeah.
Swatch was like the in brand back then.
Swatch is still a thing, and they do have a store at the Fashion Show Mall.
That's great.
So absolutely. Another option would be the shops at the canal shops.
The canal shops are great.
The canal shops down at the Venetian are a great option. Plenty of great stores down there, including a great watch store.
I remember losing you in that watch store when we were down there for a convention.
You might have lost me in there for 45 minutes
Yeah.
or so. But there's plenty of great options. There's a great store down there with a lot of F1 merchandise, which I thought was cool as an F1 fan. But so that would be the first reason that locals do go to the Strip, even though we like to loudly proclaim that we don't, is if we want to do shopping, particularly upscale shopping and particularly getting out of the heat.
Yeah.
Some of the best shopping options in Las Vegas happen to be.
Also great for people watching.
Also great for people watching.
And sometimes, it's one of my guilty pleasures, is, if I'm down on the Strip, I'm going to carve time out of my day to people watch.
As you should.
Because, you get all sorts of characters.
Yes. So, Justin, what is your second reason why locals do end up, in fact, going to the Strip?
I was thinking about, the last few times that I went to the Strip, and a lot of times it's for a show.
Yeah.
I've taken my mom. My mom loves big stage productions, so, on her birthday or Christmas, I tend to take her to one of these productions. We've taken her to see Jersey Boys, which, I surprised her. And we took her to Jersey Boys, and the look on her face was priceless. Totally worth the time and the money for that show. She loved it. So, there's a lot of great shows. I've seen Jersey Boys, I've seen Rock of Ages, I've seen Blue Man Group, and a couple other.
Stasha and I went to Blue Man Group for our anniversary a couple years ago.
Okay, did you like it?
The show was absolutely fantastic. I was blown away by just how, when you really get down to it, they're really a mime troupe, is what they really are.
Yeah.
But they just put their own unique spin on it, and there's a reason that show has been as successful as it has for as long as it has.
Yes.
Because they constantly revamp it, they constantly keep it fresh, and it's just really, really well executed.
Yeah, it is.
And relatively affordable. I wouldn't call it cheap, but for a great night of entertainment, I certainly wasn't upset at the price I paid.
Yeah, no, it wasn't even that. The shows aren't even that crazy expensive. Here's another quick pro tip. If you're here in Vegas, if you're living here, or even if you're visiting, but you happen to be here on off nights, like a Thursday night, those are usually the best times to go to the Strip and see a show, because you're not going to be dealing with the hustle and bustle of the weekend, and the prices tend to be a little bit lower, maybe 10 to 20% on a Thursday night, or if it's not dark on a Sunday night, going on a Sunday night as well. But you'll find most of the shows are going to be dark Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So another thing I want to talk about with the shows is, while we have the Smith Center, which is a great venue, and that's more up towards the Arts District and downtown, you will see a lot of Broadway shows come and do residencies at some of these bigger casinos. I remember I went to see The Lion King at the Bellagio. It was amazing. It was such a great show. So you do get a lot
I've seen The Lion King, by
Have
the
you?
way. Yeah, I went and saw The Lion King in several years ago in Hawaii.
Okay.
At the Performing Arts Center there in Honolulu.
It was a really cool show. I was really
So
impressed.
great. Yeah.
So you will see, off our Broadway productions come to these larger casinos on the Strip, and you want to keep an eye on that, because again, you're going to always find local discounts, especially if you're going on those off nights like Thursdays. And keep in mind that there is going to be And Mike's girlfriend just reminded us, you can always find free parking on the Strip. My parking hack is always park at Crystal's and the valet. You tip them $5 when you drop the car off. You tip another $5 or $10 when you pick it up, and they don't charge you. You can park there all night long.
Yeah. So there's several locations that do have free parking on the Strip. Just depends on what part of the Strip you're going to. If you're a local, Caesar's Palace has free parking. You have to scan your driver's license at the gate there at their parking garage. There is free parking at the Wynn. They don't charge anybody for parking at the Wynn.
Yeah.
No, they don't. So there's free parking at the Wynn, which is another location that I occasionally go to for shopping, specifically because of the Omega boutique there. There is free parking at the Fashion Show Mall, which we already mentioned to you. So, and just 5 minutes on Google will tell you where you can find free parking, particularly if you're a local.
And this is subject to change. Unfortunately, you see a lot more venues getting rid of the free parking. We're filming this early October 2024. So as of right now, those are just some of the free parking hacks that we know.
Yeah.
So Mike, what else will we do on the Strip?
Well, keeping it in the realm of live entertainment, another thing that locals will go to the Strip for is live sporting events.
Yeah.
Specifically talking about, of course, our beloved Golden Knights at the T-Mobile Arena, which is located on the Strip right there directly adjacent to the New York, and the City Center, which is a fantastic little area, by the way.
Yeah, it's actually called the Park. And it's right between Park MGM Grand and New York. And they've just made this entire entertainment complex right in front of T-Mobile Arena. So there's bars and restaurants and viewing areas. They usually have DJs and food trucks out there. It's just a really cool vibe right before a big Knights game, and they even do it before big concerts and shows.
Right, absolutely. So in addition to going down to the T-Mobile Arena for a Knights game, of course, there is also all of the various UFC and boxing events that we get here in Las Vegas. Typically at like the MGM Grand would be the most common location, or again at T-Mobile Arena. I know it's not technically a sport, but I've gone to T-Mobile Arena for pro wrestling, which is sports entertainment.
Yeah, it's
sports
sport. Hey,
adjacent.
it's those guys are working hard. So
They
definitely call that a sport.
They are working hard.
It's a full contact sport for sure.
But the point being is that another reason that locals will go to the Strip is for live sports. And pretty soon, you and I will be going to the Strip for some live baseball.
Yes, we will.
When we go watch our Angels and they play the soon-to-be Las Vegas A's.
The Las Vegas A's. I can't wait for that.
I'm very excited to be able to watch Angels games right here in my home city.
And if it's anything like all the other sports venues in town, and if you haven't been to Allegiant Stadium, if you haven't been to T-Mobile, if you haven't been to the ballpark in Summerlin, these are all top-notch venues.
They are absolutely state-of-the-art luxury venues. No expense was spared.
Yeah, so I can only imagine what the ballpark that the A's are going to play at is going to look like, because it's just going to be the next step in the sports evolution of Las Vegas. So this place is going to be, I'm sure it'll be dynamite.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited about baseball coming to Las Vegas as a certified baseball fanatic. So there you go. Next reason that locals go down to the Strip is to see live sports. And I believe, Justin, you've got one more live entertainment related reason why we would go to the Strip.
I do. You know, we've talked about shows, we've talked about sports, but I can't name a musician or a band that goes on tour that doesn't stop in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all the big names from who are the big? I'm so out of touch with music now. Taylor Swift, she's still a thing, right?
I do believe she is still relatively popular. Yes.
Yeah. You got Taylor Swift. You have we talked about Maroon 5, Garth Brooks, different groups. I mean, there was just a big thing at Allegiant Stadium a couple of weeks ago where it was Motley Crue and the Scorpions, and some of these '80s hair bands. So you get a ton of live music on the Strip, whether it's these big bands and big singers, or even just some of the great dive bars and dueling pianos. If you love live music, then going down to the Strip is probably going to be one of your favorite things to do down there. Plus, you have great residencies. You have Maroon 5. We've had Mariah Carey down there before. We've had Shania Twain. I believe Garth is wrapping up.
Celine Dion. Christina Aguilera. These are just the ones off the top of our head. And there's an ever-rotating list of major artists who they want to keep making money, but they don't want to go on the road. So they get themselves a little spot here in Vegas, and they pick up a residency, and they play the same show 5 nights a week and they get paid, and I'm not mad at them.
One of the greatest shows I ever saw was at Caesar's Palace. It was pre-COVID, so it was probably about 6 or 7 years ago. It was Steve Martin and Martin Short.
Oh, I can only imagine. I'm a huge fan of both. So.
It was just 90 minutes of just me just belly busting laughing.
The Three Amigos is an underrated comedy gem.
I agree. So you're going to get not only these great musicians and this great musical acts, but you're going to get top-notch comedy as well.
Oh, you know who still has a residency here, who you should go check out if you want to see him, because he's not getting any younger. Barry Manilow.
Barry Manilow. Actually, 2 years ago, I sent my mom and my aunt for Christmas. That was her Christmas gift.
Yeah.
They went and saw Barry Manilow's Christmas special.
Yeah. Did they love it?
They did. My mom, when I gave her the tickets, my mom almost cried.
Aw.
So it was
such a good son.
Yeah, it was. I have my moments. So yeah, there are some great acts and great shows here in town that you definitely want to take advantage of on the Las Vegas Strip.
For sure.
So what's our next trip down to the Las Vegas Strip going to be?
So the next most common reason that I personally go to the Strip is to stuff my face.
Yeah.
As much as I hate to say it, some of the best food in Las Vegas. And don't get me wrong, we have done video after video telling you about all the great food you can find away from the Strip.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, some of the best food in Las Vegas is on the Strip.
Absolutely.
If you want to go to Nobu, if you want to go to Gordon Ramsay's restaurant or Bobby Flay's restaurant, or
one of their restaurants, they have
one of their multiple restaurants, you're going to have to go down to the Strip. I actually have a restaurant that Stasha and I like to go to.
Mm-hmm.
That's not run by anybody famous. I wouldn't even say there's anything particularly special about it other than the food is really great and I just happen to love the ambiance in the restaurant. And that's a restaurant down in the Forum Shops at Caesars called the Water Grill.
Okay.
Just a really good quality seafood restaurant. The ambiance in there is completely top notch, lots of exposed wood, and just I'll make sure that the editor puts some photos of the restaurant up here on the screen for you. But it's just, I love it. Stasha and I have gone there a couple of times for Valentine's Day dinner. They do a prima facie menu where it's a fixed price and it's a multi-course meal. We've enjoyed it both times that we've gone. And then, of course, I mean, just again, Google is your friend here. There is an absolutely staggering number of phenomenal restaurants available to you on the Strip. So again, if you're looking for date night, and this pairs really well with a show.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? So that's what we tend to do. If we're looking for a date night and we want to kind of one-stop shop it, we will head down to the Strip. We'll find a show that we want to go see, and then we'll find a restaurant that we want to go to near that show.
Yes.
And then that'll be our date night. So we only have to park one time, we go eat, we go see our show, and then depending on what we're doing, we'll either go home or occasionally we'll do a staycation where we'll actually get a room at the hotel where the show is and we'll stay for the evening. But that would be another reason I go. So what are some of your favorite restaurants down on the Strip?
I'd have to say hands down my favorite restaurant on the Strip is an Italian steakhouse at the Cosmopolitan called Scarpetta. High-end steakhouse. This is definitely one of those places where you're going to max the credit card out.
Sure.
You're going to melt some plastic at this place. But it is just a fantastic Italian steakhouse. If you make a reservation, which I highly recommend you do, ask for a table by the window. If you can get a table by the window, you have a great overlook of the Bellagio Fountain Show. So you can't get much more romantic than that. It is just a really nice vibe. The food is amazing. They're actually the original Scarpetta. Mm-hmm. You know where it's located?
I do not.
Rodeo Drive.
Oh, very cool.
Yes, so it is a very high-end, fancy type of place. Not normally a place you'd find me, but I would highly recommend Scarpetta. But I want to do a quick shout out. You mentioned Caesar's Palace. Really the only buffet I would touch in town is Bacchanal Buffet at Caesar's Palace. It is hands down the best buffet I've ever been to in my life. And this isn't your traditional buffet. There are so many live cooking stations. So they're actually making the food basically for you. And then the variety that you can find at Bacchanal is second to none. So this is a higher end buffet. So if you want to experience that Vegas buffet, but you don't want to eat cheap food, definitely try out the Bacchanal Buffet at Caesar's Palace.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So moving on from dining.
Yeah. Do we have to? I'm getting hungry.
I am also. It is getting close to lunchtime.
They do have a Whataburger now on the Strip too. So if you want a Whataburger or an In-N-Out burger, you can go to either one on the Strip.
You heard it here first, guys. So the next reason that locals are going to go to the Strip is going to be for some family fun entertainment. Again, particularly if you're trying to get out of the heat.
Wait a minute. You can't take kids to the Strip. They can't gamble.
They cannot gamble, but let me tell you what they can do is they can go to the Adventure Dome.
That's true.
Circus.
Yeah. Weren't you just there like a couple of springs ago?
I did take my kids there on spring break for a day. We had a really good time.
Great.
Took the kids there, let them ride roller coasters. Stosh and I drank some overpriced cocktails. It was great. Another thing that I have taken my kids to do, there's actually a really fun indoor Twilight Zone themed putt-putt course at the Horseshoe.
Nice. Okay.
So that was a fun way to kill a couple of hours.
Like Twilight or Twilight Zone?
No, Twilight Zone.
Okay. I was wondering if it was Twilight like the vampire movie or Twilight Zone like
Rod Sterling.
Gotcha.
You know.
Okay.
So that's another great thing. Justin, I know that you have some family fun activities that you had mentioned in the planning process here.
I do. I do take my daughter down to the Strip maybe a couple of times a year, especially for seasonal things. The Bellagio has the conservatory, and usually right around the holidays, they really go crazy and do beautiful Christmas decor and flowers and all sorts of great things. So I take her down there. It's a great photo opportunity. So we go to the Bellagio Conservatory. We also have annual passes to Mandalay Bay Shark Reef.
Oh, fantastic!
Yes.
I took my kids there a few years ago. Actually, just before we moved here, we came out here for a visit, and I took my kids to the Shark Reef, and we had a blast.
It is my daughter. I have a hard time getting her out of there. She thinks it's amazing, especially when you get to the room where the sharks are swimming above you, below you, and all around you. She just thinks that is the best thing ever. So, those are two of the things that I've taken her down there to do. There are a few other things that she's not quite old enough, like the Adventure Dome. Fly over Las Vegas is a really fun experience. That might be good for date night.
Yeah.
And just south of the Strip, you're going to find something that Mike and I are actually going to go check out here pretty soon. You have the Pinball Museum / Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
Where they just have hundreds, maybe thousands of pinball machines. So, if you want to introduce your kids to pinball and get them away from the Xbox or the computer, checking out the Pinball Hall of Fame might be a really good alternative.
Yeah. And then another thing is the M&M store.
Oh yeah, that's danger food. That's right there.
Yeah.
I always walk out with a lot of free samples. They may not know it, but I walk out with those free samples.
Your picture is going to be on a sign next to the door. After
Do not let this YouTuber in.
Yeah. So the point being, guys, is that there are tons and tons of great options to take your family, especially if you're just trying to get out of the heat.
Yeah.
Because, again, Las Vegas, it gets hot during the summertime, and there are a lot of fun things that you can do. A lot of them can be reasonably priced, especially things like the Shark Reef or, going down to play putt-putt golf like we did. Don't necessarily need to spend a lot of money. Spend a few hours, have a great time with your family. And those options do tend to be congregated around the Strip.
Yeah, and another hack is check out Groupon. If you're looking to save a little bit of money, log on to, like Mike said, Google's your best friend. Just type in locals deals in Las Vegas. There are going to be times where you're going to find discount codes for places like Shark Reef or the Pinball Hall of Fame. These different locations will cater to and want to bring in more of that local dollar. So they're going to offer you that discount. So that's probably going to be my final local hack is, always look for discounts and deals.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing that's down, maybe not necessarily on the Strip, but it's only about a block off the Strip that you and I need to go check out. We need to get down there to that Topgolf.
Yes, I've been to Topgolf. It's pretty nice. I also want to do it's on Las Vegas Boulevard, but it's not on the Strip. Is the new Tiger Woods miniature golf.
Oh, the Pop
Yeah,
Pop Stroke.
Pop Stroke. That just opened a few months back.
We should go check that out down there at the town square.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, that is going to wrap it up for this video on the reasons why Vegas locals might actually decide to go down and check out the Strip. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. Keep in mind, if you are looking for lending help, reach out to our lending partners, Steve Schauer and Linda Vo over at Security National Mortgage. They're the best in town. They can tell you what you qualify for, what sort of rate you can get. And if you're not quite ready to buy that dream home, they can help you with the roadmap, how to get from point A to point B so you can find that dream home here in the Las Vegas Valley. When you are ready to buy, make sure you reach out to Justin and I here at the Moody Olson team. Nobody's going to work harder for you. We're going to help you find the perfect home for you and your family, and then we're going to work as hard as we can to negotiate on your behalf, get that home for the best possible price and most favorable terms. If you're looking to sell your home, reach out to us as well. We absolutely love listings here at the Moody Olson team. We're going to bring all of the tools that we have to bear to get the most money for your home in the least amount of time. That means professional photography, professional videography, drone videos. We're going to feature your home on our YouTube channel. We're going to get your home up on all the social media platforms. And we're just going to absolutely blanket this city with your house to make sure that we get it in front of as many eyeballs as we possibly can. Until next time, guys, make sure you like and subscribe, hit that bell icon so you get notified whenever we put out a new video. We do 2 every single week of the best locals and real estate coverage that we can give you here for the Las Vegas Valley. And until next time, I'm Mike.
I'm Justin.
And we're out of here.